You're listening to Them Three, a podcast that inspires people to be themselves while living life on purpose with purpose.
We're the McCleskeys, two brothers
and a sister,
raised by the same parents, generations apart.
When getting spanked wasn't considered abuse.
It should have been.
And when riding the bus without seatbelts was fun. Join us as we inspire siblings like ourselves to have more effective communication within their own family units.
You be you.
And inspire others to do the same.
Oh, yeah.
Welcome to Them Three Podcast. I am Stacy McCleskey Sr.
And we have Bill McCleskey. I was about to say Junior. Bill McCleskey in the building. What up?
And we have Tim Jr. I am the eldest.
He loves to say that, the eldest.
I'm saying.
No, but Tim, you look good. Let me tell you something.
You look hot.
Jeans.
You look kind of hot.
I'm
I'm
a
hot
little warm
right
I'm
now.
a little warm.
Why don't you take off your sweater?
Well, I mean, the sweater, this is my look. But, you know, my son is over here. He's doing his work, doing his Kumon, and he's got my heater in here. And I be down, he closed the door. Woo!
That child is always cold.
Warm. He got on shorts, t-shirt, and no socks. I mean, he comfortable.
Well, why don't he put
I
on
hear
a sweater or something?
He real comfortable.
Yeah.
But no, I'm comfortable. I'm good. I'm
You
good.
good.
What is that on the sweater? Is that a letter or what is that?
A P.
A P.
It's a P.
Okay. What's that stand for?
I was on the wrong side. Okay, sorry. Huh?
You rubbed the wrong titty. Yes. To that one with the P over it.
The P element. Oh,
P
wow.
for puberty now.
Wowzer. Okay.
P
Yeah.
for my prerogative.
It's
perfection.
my prerogative. Perfection. Okay.
Oh, ooh. Hey, Stacy, I was, those, oh my gosh. Can we just tell the folks to follow you on Instagram? Because the songs you put together about the days of the week are so amazing. It's Tuesday. I'm like, oh, I was playing it somewhere and somebody was like, is that Jennifer Hudson? I said, no, that's my sister. Man, she sound good. I was like, that's Jennifer McCleskey.
I just get these jingles. I always have a song in my heart, no matter where I go. I remember one time, Billy, you were like, are you going to sing everything? We were sitting at the dinner table, something, and you were like, pass me something. And I was like, pass me the potatoes. Oh, pass me. You know, you can make a song out of anything.
Oh, no doubt. I do that. That's a habit. Can you change your name on your screen? So what you I'm like, hey, we got Tim McCleskey Jr.'s in the building.
I thought I did.
Okay. Just to let the people know who are listening to this podcast, we didn't go to podcast school or anything, podcast university. Mm-hmm. So we actually, I always believe there's levels to things. So we coming out the gate kind of like renegades, you know what I'm saying? But season 2, boy, we about to be so sweet with it. But right now we don't care.
We don't.
Right now we just have fun, and talking to the folks and all that good stuff.
But I feel like this is what people like, honestly, because they want to feel like they are sitting in your living room with you, having the conversation with you. So
yeah. Now, can you talk about that plant over there?
That plant is struggling. Down at the bottom of
it's
the
like
sorry, Flower. I just hit Pop Flower in the face. So this plant right here, look at the whole thing. I got this from, I think, Costco last year. Right? When Costco
is it a real plant?
It's a real plant, right?
Oh, okay.
So I went away, I came down to Nashville, I took a cross-country trip. I was away for about 6 weeks. And a friend of mine, my neighbor.
Where are you now?
I'm back in New York.
You're in New York. Okay, go ahead.
I'm in Inwood, North Manhattan. And
what?
So my friend came, I got a lot of plants in my house. My friend came to water my plants, but I love her to death, but she'll do stuff like, be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna water him. And then I'll be like, did you water? And a week later, she's like, right, I'm going today. So my plant, so this one, it had a whole top part. And as you could tell, that is gone, but it's struggling. Wow. And I have an app that's helping me get some of my plants, a few of them. I have a banana tree, not a banana tree, but a banana leaf plant in my bedroom that is, if I showed that to you, you'd be like, just let it go. Just let it go.
Wow.
It's amazing. what plants do for your environment, because I remember I had 2 fake plants in my home before I got married. And I remember moving one out of the room. And then when I put it back in the room, when I would walk in the room, it would just feel like the room was alive. It was just like, and it was a fake plant, but it's amazing, just the energy.
I have a ton of plants above my bed, and when I flip the light on, it is as if they take a deep breath. I mean, because they're alive, they're breathing,
right.
Living organisms that have life. And when you talk to a plant, you play music for them. If they're dying, they come back to life because they need love. Everything needs love.
Energy. Yeah,
energy. It's a
Well, I got a plant in my house that ain't got no love. I got a plant. I mean, it's so dead, and it's just, it's one of those plants that kind of grows out and kind of grows down and all over the house. And Deborah, my wife, put it up on the landing when you go up the steps going upstairs, and it's a huge window. And I guess the window, it was too much light coming in because that thing is like yellow.
Oh yeah.
Ain't no more green. It's just straight yellow.
Yeah.
It's gone.
You might want to take it out the window and maybe put it somewhere else where
too much sunlight.
Yeah.
It ain't my plant.
Yeah.
I ain't worried about
so
it.
how was y'all's week or the last few days over the weekend? Tim, how was your past week, man, since we last recorded?
Oh, the week was amazing. I had really good time spending with my family, my siblings, my mom. She retired. That was just a joy to see her smile and to really get a lot of people to respond to her and retiring and showing up at the house. That was really nice. Just the fellowship.
Yeah.
She spent almost 35 years running the child care center where we worship, Shirley Lane Child Care Center, and just did an amazing job. And it's awesome when sometimes I would talk to her and she would tell me about a student who went to the child care center who's now a scientist with the CDC. I mean, it's just that's amazing. And she can just pick up the phone and call these people, but she knows she had some influence on their growth and development. And so just to know the impact that she had. I remember I was in school at TSU, Tennessee State University, and I was taking a senior level course, and I mentioned my mother, and the instructor was like, "Wait a minute, your mother's the director of the child care center at Shirley Lane?" I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "Oh, your mother's amazing." And I remember just thinking, wow, the influence that she has on a whole community. And I'm sitting here in a college class and a professor knows it. So that was just amazing to me. But I enjoyed it. Had a real good weekend. Had a real good time.
Stacy, what about you? What about you? How was the last week or so? Ooh, the face you made.
The face. Last week was great. I honestly, I was sitting here thinking, like, what did I do last week? I don't know. Sometimes the weeks go by so fast, I can't even remember what happened. I mean, yes, I was definitely celebrating mom via the interweb, via Zoom, and the many pictures and videos that Dad sent me. Honestly, I cannot remember what I did last week. I got a physical, which I think it's important. I think it's important that we go to the doctor and check on our bodies and stay in tune with our health, especially as Black and brown folk, because a lot of times we don't. And it's very important to catch things early if something's happening in your body. So that was great. I got a physical, got some blood work done. I'll have some follow-up appointments. I'm trying to think what else I did last week. I cooked, I think. Oh, you know what? Last week I co-hosted a trivia night at this place called The Liberty with one of my dear friends, and that was fun. It was outside. In New York, we don't have inside dining right now, indoor dining right now. Everything is outside, but a lot of these restaurants have built these amazing structures outside on the sidewalks and kind of in the street, with heating and lovely couches and all this stuff. So it's really cool to check out some of the new outdoor dining. Even though it's cold, they make it very comfortable. And then Friday, I went to this restaurant called Butter. I love food.
Yeah.
And I've really been, and I've really been into cooking different things in my house, and I've had so much time to do that. But I went to this really great restaurant called Butter, and I got this butternut squash, and it tasted like Christmas. If you can think of everything that goes into Christmas for you, the feeling of it, the smells of Christmas, the sounds, it was in this bowl. I kid you not. And I said, how did they get a whole season into a dish?
Wow.
And I always feel that when you eat something that tastes that good, it is truly cooked with love. I think that's what some of the greatest chefs cook with, love. Because
absolutely.
it's something that it's a craft, it's an art, and they love what they're doing, and they're pouring their heart and their souls into it. So I did that. I think I hung out with some people, flitted around probably. But
Ooh, flittered. Okay.
Tarried.
Oh,
No, you love when I say tarried.
Tarried.
How was your week, Billy?
It was good. It was really good. I ended up January with a bang, obviously celebrating with mom and the family. And so that was amazing. And I'm really observing what mom is going to do next. You know, I'm interested in being influential and encouraging her to, you know, become a consultant and a subject matter expert, and based on what she's done for the last 30 plus years in that field, because, you know, she has a lot of expertise in early childhood education, and she's done some consulting work before and been an adjunct professor and things like that. But, you know, she could really turn what she's done into a book, an online course, just really be that and add her personality to it, and still enjoy the work, just in a different lane, you know. So I think that could be an opportunity for her. But for me, you know, I like January because it's one of those months where, you know, how people set New Year's resolutions and stuff. January for me is still a month where I plan out my year, you know. So I was doing that all month. And then February, you know, February 1st, which was yesterday, we just hit it. You know, we got some new goals. I set a goal to run 100 miles this month, and I'm really interested in how I'm going to fare.
Where are you now? Because I saw on your Instagram you've been sweating for 2 days, so you know.
This is day 2, so I ran 5 miles yesterday, and I ran 5 miles today, so I'm at 10 miles.
That's amazing, Billy. That's really amazing.
Yeah. So, and I've been doing it during lunch too. So I get a smoothie or a juice and grab that, and then I go to the gym, run, take a shower, go back to the office. You know what I'm saying?
Where are you going to the gym?
At the Y downtown.
Oh, downtown Y. Okay.
Yeah. I'm at the Y. So no, that's what I'm looking forward to, and just really seeing what I'm capable of and pushing myself. And that it's a discipline thing. It's kind of like your 75 hard, Stacy.
Let me tell you something. 75 hard is hard, which is why I'm not doing it right now. Because because it's like you said, January is still part of figuring out your goals and the plans to reach those goals. And so I wasn't mentally ready for that, but I have some new challenges I'm gonna start this.
I was listening to something about this guy saying that he was going to, y'all know I love watching marathon documentaries, right?
Yeah.
I mention that every episode. Okay.
You do.
So man, I was watching this episode about this guy. They run these ultra marathons, like 50, 100 miles and stuff. And this guy was saying, like, he plans out, he figures out ahead of time what could go wrong, and he plans it out, not only physically, but mentally as well. You know, so he'll say something like, okay, around 20 miles, I'm going to be feeling like this, and I'm going to be thinking this at mile 50 and stuff like that. So you're right. I mean, Stacey, you got to mentally prepare for this stuff, just as if we were driving across country, right?
Yes.
You know, we map out where we're going to stop, you know, gas up, all this type of stuff, playlists. We plan all this out. We got to do that when we set goals too.
Yeah.
What were you about to say, Tim?
I'm still stuck on this whole idea that squash tastes like Christmas.
Like Christmas.
I'm still like,
hey, she tripping me out so much. I pulled up the restaurant. I'm like, butter in Midtown.
Because all I remember,
it's
when I think of squash, I think of what Dad used to have when he would serve us squash at home, and it looked like squash that had been cooked 3 times over that had a lot of extra water in it.
But
with
I'm gonna
some
tell you,
onions.
squash casserole, if cooked correctly, is the
Oh
bomb.
yeah, now that's good with some.
But it
good
depends
crackers.
on the squash. Like this was specifically butternut squash soup. So butternut
Pacifically.
squash. No, please don't say Pacific. I can't stand when people say Pacific. So Pacifically, I'm like the ocean. It got a picture. But it was specifically butternut squash soup. So you know that already it's not like that little yellow squash that daddy, the little regular squash. He used to
No.
Regular, that's regular squash, not butternut.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you though, I go to Sweats, and that I don't know, people be tripping on Sweats, but I like the way they cook their squash casserole. It's very good. I'm sure it's got a lot of butter in it, but
it does. Probably.
Anyway, I was in this training one time, and the trainer was training. You know, she's talking, she's very articulate, and she's training us, and blah blah blah. And then she said Pacifically, and I was in I didn't know, I only knew like one other person in there, but it was like maybe 15 people in the training, and I looked at somebody I didn't even know, and we were like.
It just took you out of the training.
And then somebody said, well, Atlantically, we was like, oh, we're naming oceans now. We're doing it, okay? Arctically. But woo, it's okay. It's all right.
It is. Sure.
Yeah, I'm glad y'all had a good week. Hey man, before we jump into like a question or whatever, I wanted to play y'all some we got some messages on the app.
Yeah.
By the way, those of you who are listening, if you're listening to the podcast, I believe on anchor.fm, you can send us a message, an audio message, not an email or whatever. You can send us an audio message and we might play it. You know what I'm saying? If you got something to say. So check this one out, y'all.
Hey guys, it's 2:05 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here in Miami. I just want to let you know that I finished listening to the podcast and you guys were wilding out. I enjoyed it so much and look forward to the next one. I'm going to send in my question. Love you guys. Peace out.
That was our cousin Terry Zoe. What do we call it? Zoe?
Linda
Terry
Dooley,
Madison.
Linda Dooley.
Linda Dooley, Terry
Linda
Zoe.
Dooley.
Appreciate you, Zoe, for listening
Love you,
in.
cuz.
She said 2 a.m. She was up at
I
2
know,
a.m.
right? Out of Miami. Is she in Miami or Hollywood,
Yeah,
Florida?
well,
Miami.
Yeah,
Miami,
Miami.
yeah.
Okay, she's in Miami. All right, here's one more, y'all. Y'all gonna trip out off this one.
Them siblings, I just want to know, okay, I get Bill, Lee, and Stacy, but what is Tim Jr.? Are you serious? Tim Bone, get real, baby. Use that name. I love you guys. Bye. This is Linda Dooley.
She just be up sending in messages. I love it though. I love it.
She said, them siblings is them three. Firstly, it's them three. And Tim Bone is do we know where Tim Bone came from?
Yeah, Tim Bone. They used to call Dad Tim Bone because he was so skinny.
Oh,
wow.
Okay. So since you're Tim Jr., you call that's right. I knew that.
And you were skinny too when you were little.
I don't know if I was ever really skinny. I was. You were
a premium. You were bony.
Fullback. You know what I'm saying?
I was never huge.
Never huge, yeah.
I could call Rowan Tim Bone. He's so skinny.
Oh yeah, Rowan is skinny. Oh,
ain't nothing wrong with being skinny. Ain't nothing wrong with being big. Ain't nothing wrong with being big. Hey.
Yeah.
So
body types are accepted.
So we do have a couple of questions, and let's take a look at some of these here.
Dive in.
We got a question from Latika Coleman. What's up, Latika?
Yes.
Who is that? Y'all know her?
I don't.
Nope.
Okay, Latika Coleman said, "Where's my gift card?" Exclamation point 3 times. Okay, so she's from LD Coleman Consulting. Okay,
is that in Nashville? Where is that?
I don't know.
Atlanta.
Oh wow.
ATL. Okay.
ATL in the building.
ATL shouting.
And she's talking about the gift card we were giving away. We have not decided when. So we're gonna give the gift card away at the end of the season. Okay.
Yes.
So we just want you guys to continue to engage us and all that good stuff.
And put everything you want in your Amazon cart, so save it for the gift card.
Put it all
on the list.
Card.
Just create your list.
Yeah,
and then Latoya White, also known as Latoya Ramsey White, said, "You all are quite the entrepreneurial sibling set. None of you have settled into the realms of corporate America. What influence do you think your upbringing had in your careers? Also, y'all are hilarious. Where do you think that came from?" So y'all want to address those questions? What influence do you think your upbringing had in your careers?
Oh, God.
If you really think about it, I think our parents really supported us as individuals. I don't think they tried to put us in a cookie cutter mold and say, you got to do this. Well, I take that back. They all wanted us, they both wanted us to go to college. They all talked about us going to school, but they allowed us to go where we wanted to go to school. So like Stacy, they didn't say, oh, you got to go to TSU, because they're both TSU alumni. And I know some people want their kids to go to their school where they graduated.
Or a traditional college too.
Right.
Yeah,
like 4-year college, yeah.
And
Stacy went to, what was it, 18 months?
I wanted to go to Tuskegee. I mean, I remember. Oh yeah, I'd gotten accepted to Tuskegee. I was just so pro-Black. Coming out of White Creek High School, and I was going to Tuskegee, and I remember I was in my room filling out the housing information. Dad comes in there. He said, "Hey, Tim, you got a scholarship to UT Knoxville. You can put that stuff up. You going to UT?" I was hot. I was mad. God. I had not applied to UT, University of Tennessee.
How did you get a scholarship then?
Somebody gave me a scholarship. I think it was a church member, and they were able to send my information in, and I got like a partial scholarship.
Wow.
So, and going to Tuskegee, and I didn't understand it at the time, that was out of state tuition. It's not it's a private school. So that's a lot of money. Yeah. So when you compare, there is no comparison. Yeah. So what he said made sense, but I didn't like it at the time. I'm like, what? I mean, University of Tennessee, the Black population at the time was probably maybe 3,000 or 4,000 against 32,000 versus going to Tuskegee in Alabama. But, I mean, it's night and day. Now, my first semester at UT, I came back to TSU's homecoming. I had on a T-shirt, some khakis, and some Bucks. Y'all know what Bucks are?
Yeah.
I mean, and I was like, hey guys. And folk were like, what is wrong with you?
He went to UT.
Right.
Okay. I went to UT.
Tailgate. Looking like, but
I finished at TSU. I finished at a HBCU. I did not finish at UT.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder what would have happened though if you had been able to go to the school of your choice. What that would have pushed you into doing, or if life would have looked different. But shoulda, coulda, woulda.
Stacey, what influence do you think your upbringing had on your career?
I mean, I think Tim is right. Our parents never really put us in a box. I don't think they did that because they couldn't. We are three very strong personalities. We have three very strong personalities. We're very opinionated people, but I think that's because our parents are opinionated. So that's like a learned habit. And they listened. I mean, for me, for school, I got a full ride to Berklee School of Music. 4-year school in Boston. But I didn't want to move to Boston. I wanted to move to New York City. And I knew that. And I remember I didn't take the SAT, I took the ACT. And when you take it, they make you take this fill out this personality questionnaire. And I remember coming home and there was a letter on my bed from the school I ended up going to called American Musical and Dramatics Academy. And no one knew who put the letter on my bed. No one knew. And so I opened it and I had gotten a scholarship there as well. But it cost a little bit more. And at the time it was a 2-year program. And I remember writing a paper and pitching it to Dad to allow me to move to New York. Now, little did he know I was going to go to New York regardless. I had already talked to Mom. But what I needed to pitch to him was so he could help me pay for it or help me fill out the financial aid paperwork. But yeah, I ended up going to AMDA, and it changed my life. I mean, I think if I had gone to another school, I'm not a big school type of person. None of the schools I've been to in my life have been big school. My high school was small. My graduating class was, I think, 99 people. So I think Tim is right. They encourage us to be ourselves, and they listened. And I think it's very important to listen. I don't have any children, but I think it is important to listen to your children, because even though they're children, they still have something to say, and they're expressing themselves, not their parents' selves.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For me, guys, I mean, that's interesting. I agree with you. I remember my college decision-making process was interesting. I wanted to go to Morehouse in Atlanta. That was my first choice. And by the way, I only applied to HBCUs. So I applied to Morehouse. I applied to Dillard in Louisiana. I applied to Clark in Atlanta. And I applied to Fisk University and maybe one more. I can't remember another university, but my first choice was Morehouse. Dad and I had gone down there to visit, that did the tour. We sent in the application, all that good stuff. And I was preparing to go to Morehouse, but I got this letter in the mail from Fisk, and they said, full ride. We're going to pay for everything. And then I remember going to school one day, and one of my best friends there, Anthony, y'all know Anthony Watt, can shout out to Anthony. Hey, Watt, he's like, man, I'm going to Fisk. I got the same scholarship. I was like, all right, I'm going to Fisk. So I went to Dad. I was like, hey, look at this paperwork. You know, they're going to pay for me to go to school. You know, right. It's all free. All I got to do is pay for my books. He was like, well, do you want to go to Fisk? I was like, yeah, Anthony going there. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? So that actually made me feel like, okay, we can make this work, because I didn't really necessarily want to stay in Nashville, but I did like Fisk. And you know what's interesting about that too? When I was a senior in high school, I went to Fisk I wrote one of my major term papers. We had to do two of them, but one of them was on the Fisk Jubilee Singers. And I remember going to Fisk and going to the library, talking to this lady in special collections. And I sat in the library, and there were a lot of students buzzing around me, and they would talk to me ever so often. And I was thinking, oh, they probably think I go to school here, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I did all this research on the Fisk Jubilee Singers. And I thought it was such an intriguing story. And then a few months later, I was like, yeah, I'll go to Fisk. That's a cool, you know, school and cool story. But I also think that early on, our parents also taught us two things. And one is to believe in ourselves, you know, that you know, we could do anything. And number two, to always do a good job, you know. And those are things that I remember them really impressing upon us when we were growing up, you know, whether it was with Dad just to, you know, doing chores or with Mom doing chores around the house, Dad cutting the grass. You know, Tim always tried to get out of cutting the grass, talking about he had asthma. But
yep.
You know, but I remember Dad like explaining to me, okay, when you cut the grass, you know, you go push the mower down in a straight line, and then you turn around and you come back pushing. And then he would always say, and he would say this when he would explain several things. He would say, and when you look back over your work, you'll be proud of yourself to know that you did a good job. And I think that's so relevant to me, even now as an adult. You know, when I do something, even if it's just vacuuming the house, I look at it and I say, man, I did a good job. And I'm proud. I'm proud of the work that I did, whether it's small or whether it's big. And so that, and and I think my mom's gift, you know, being an educator was just instilling like unlimited belief in us, you know. And it was, I remember being young, watching the Olympics in 1984, watching Carl Lewis run track, you know, and win these gold medals. And I remember telling Mom, I want to go to the Olympics, you know. And I remember her saying, you can go to the Olympics, you can do that, you can do that. And she said it with so much confidence. As a 7 or 8 year old, I was like, man, I can go to the Olympics. Like internally, I believe, like, man, my mom just said I can actually do this. And I think that's what she did for so many years for those kids, but she obviously did it to us as well. So now as adults, we believe we can do absolutely anything. You know what I mean? And on top of that, we know that when we do something, we do an absolutely good job, you know? So those two things together, produce a really unique achiever.
Now, I think one thing that because sometimes people might think, well, your parents, they were always supportive and they always gave you this great advice. But I will say this, sometimes as parents, we can make decisions that we think are best for our kids, and that's not necessarily always the case in that moment. Mm-hmm. Because, I understand now why Dad was like, you can put that stuff down, you going to UT. Mm-hmm. But I wasn't prepared for the culture shock.
Yeah.
In going to UT. We grew up in a predominantly Black neighborhood. And when I say not just the neighborhood, the community. From the church to the grocery store, to the bank, to the drugstore. It was predominantly after school programs. After school program. It was predominantly Black. The library. Mm-hmm. So everybody was Black. And you're telling me, we're not having a conversation. You're just saying, put this aside, you go into this school and you're going to have to figure it out. And I remember going to the orientation that summer, and I was a nervous wreck, just looking around and nobody looked like me. Yeah. And I wasn't used to that. I didn't know how to manage that. I didn't even know how to have a conversation about that. And I believe that's probably one of the reasons I didn't finish there. I don't, and I'm not looking at that as an excuse, but I had no idea what I was going to do when I got there. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what I wanted to major in. I mean, I'm going to UT now. So, okay.
Right. Because you had a plan.
Figure it out.
Well, you were the first child too. So you kind of like an experiment. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. You said, Dad came to you, was like, okay, so do you want to go to fit? We didn't have that conversation. I was the guinea pig child.
You were.
You just going here.
Yeah. And meanwhile, I didn't have no chores, but okay.
But you know what? What? You didn't have no chores?
No.
Oh. Well, I tell you what.
I mean, I used to ask for stuff to do, and Dad would be like, no. I mean, I think part of it is because I was a girl. And he was like, no. I used to beg Dad to let me cut the grass. Even when I go home now, he's 76. I'm like, let me cut the grass. I got it. I'm like, I'm able-bodied and eager.
But I had sinus issues, and he was like, you need to go finish cutting the grass. So, I mean, they didn't have masks. We in a time now where you have to put on your COVID mask. Okay, they didn't have masks then. I would take a shirt and tie it around my face because my sinuses were bothering me, and I was sneeze, and I would have to stop in the middle of cutting grass, come in, blow my nose, wipe my face, wash my face off,
and we've all seen you blow your nose. Yeah.
No. I mean, it was terrible. It was
the biggest dramatic show ever.
I leave home and don't ever have to cut grass again. Now my sinuses are fine. I can cut grass now.
Oh, they fine now.
Now they fine.
That was a mental thing for you.
No, it was not. It was not. You can tell Sean that I increased their stock portfolio.
No, I used to have to take an asthma pill, like the Primatene Mist pill. I took one every time before I cut the grass because I would have an asthma attack if I didn't. So like it affected me now. Now I don't have to do that now. When we first moved into our house, I was cutting the grass. I ain't cutting no more. But it doesn't impact me like that now. That's kind of interesting, but. Yeah, that's a trip. Maybe it's the grass, it's a different type of grass.
It could have been the grass.
Sure.
It might have been the grass. You know what I'm
saying? I will say this. When I decided to go back to college, and I went to an HBCU.
Which time?
I went to Tennessee State. And
you went to MTSU too, didn't you?
Oh,
and
I went
Tribeca?
to
and American Baptist.
I didn't go to Tribeca. Tribeca cost too much. No, I couldn't afford Tribeca.
That's why he got on the sweater. That's a college sweater you got on.
This is my Pepperdine. No, it's not.
No.
I thought about going to Pepperdine.
Okay. But when I actually decided to go, I actually paid for it myself, and I enjoyed going. I knew why I was going. I knew what I wanted to study. I knew what I wanted to do. And I had a good time in class. And what's amazing is here I was, I'm an adult. I have a child. At the time I was a single father with my son, but I enjoyed going to class. There were times I would take him to class with me, and people were just shocked to see a single Black father with their child, single father, in class. but it helped me to understand I was in a place where I knew what I wanted. And sometimes we have to allow children, I believe, to grow into themselves. You know, you graduate from high school. Who said you have to go right to college?
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
If you're not ready to go to college.
Mm-hmm.
Who said that?
Yeah.
You know, who said you have to go to a 4-year school? I tell a lot of my clients now, as a federal benefit counselor, I do workshops, and I'll tell people when we're talking about college, you know, if they are not the brightest light in the bulb and they're not going to get a scholarship, you know, they have no money coming in and you haven't prepared, they can go to a junior college. In the state of Tennessee, you graduate high school, you can go to a junior college for free. You know, now I know all states aren't like that, but you have to take advantage. Well, they want to be with their friends. Well, that's the problem right there. You're trying to help them to live up to some hype. But typically, a lot of times, the first couple of years, we don't know what we want to do anyway. So why waste a whole lot of money while we out there flopping like a fish?
And that's crazy.
I agree with you. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I mean, I look. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Go ahead. Cut us off. Go.
But I look at right now, you know, when COVID hit, for instance, the essential jobs weren't even the jobs that people are going out there and eagerly to get. The ones that people are being, you know, you had, of course, you have the frontline workers, so nurses, doctors, but receptionists, you know, you have the people cleaning the hospitals, you know, construction workers. The garbage men make a ton of money. First of all, they get wonderful benefits here in New York. The MTA workers, it's a great job to have. But like a lot of jobs that you would think, oh, they're essential, they weren't. And I think that shocked a lot of people, because I think a lot of people downplay certain jobs that we actually need, and certain skills that we actually need that only a specific few had during COVID. And I think that shocked a lot of people. But you're right, Timbone. I was talking to Dad once about how some kids, they might want to go to a trade school. Everybody's not going to be a doctor, a lawyer, a teacher, or whatever. You know, some people might want to be a plumber or an electrician. Electricianist. Yeah.
No, or, electrician.
No, electrician. In with an N.
Electrician, Lee.
Oh my goodness.
But you know, college, a 4-year university or college, is not for everyone. And I'm so glad that we are breaking that tradition. Because I think it's something, you know, I think a lot of times people want to have this picture. This is what my family looks like and what they do and blah, blah, blah. But just because you didn't go to a 4-year school doesn't mean you can't have that picture. I didn't go to a 4-year school. And look at how exceptional I am.
And you've been on the Tony Awards.
Right. Okay.
Twice.
And on Good Morning America.
Right.
Hey, but you know, there are companies now like Google and there's another big company I forgot. I think Microsoft. I think is doing. They're essentially building their own universities. And they're not called universities, but they call them something else. But basically, they take kids out of high school and take them through this program, like a 2-year program. And basically, they're learning skills. They go to class and stuff. And then when they graduate, when they finish, they got a job for them, you know. And these kids are making a ton of money. They're making 6 figures, you know, because they've learned to code or become a programmer or data analytics and all this other stuff. These are skills that are paying a ton of money. So I think that's the shift as well. I can say for me, I definitely was ready to go to college. And that's probably because of the high school I went to too. Like I went to Hume Fogg, which was ranked 36 of top high schools in the whole country at the time that I went there. And everybody there was like super smart and got crazy scholarships. And I always joke and tell people I graduated number last, okay? Because, you know, I literally was number last. But I was around all these quote unquote book smart folks and well-rounded people too. But I was ready because when I got to college, I noticed how I compared to other students in college. You know, I was telling Mom and Dad and Tim and them the other night, you know, I was a business major in college. But some of my electives, I would take English because, you know, I love to read and stuff. And I would take like African-American lit and Harlem Renaissance literature and stuff like that. And the people in most people in those classes were English majors, but they couldn't write. Some of them couldn't write, but you're an English major. Like I was writing better than you. I was getting the top grade in the class in some of these classes. But you know, my high school prepared me for that, you know, even though I didn't need, it's like I graduated with a C average almost from like the Harvard of high schools, you know. But if you went to Harvard, you probably had a certain level of education. But anyway, I love what's happening in that realm to see these companies. And then there's coding schools popping up. A buddy of mine runs a coding school here in Nashville. I know Vanderbilt even has a boot camp, you know, for 24 weeks. You can learn a skill and you can literally go out and get a good job, you know, doing these things. So I think that's the shift that's happening in 15 years. It's probably going to be a majority of post high school graduate education.
I think another piece in why that happens now is people are tired of paying student loans.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's ridiculous. Well, I take that back. The loan itself, the idea of paying for college I don't think is necessarily a bad thing. The challenge is it's a daily rate. So you buy a car, you buy a home, you got an annual percentage rate. You got an annual percentage rate on a credit card.
APR, yeah.
But on your APR, but your student loan is a daily rate.
Is it? I didn't even know that.
It's ridiculous. It's a daily rate. And that's why people are like, well, I'm paying this money, and I can't even seem to get a dent in it. That's right, because you're paying a daily rate.
Wow.
And so if you're paying $400 a month, well, $380 is going to interest.
Wow.
I mean, it's crazy.
The other crazy thing about it is they don't forgive that debt in bankruptcy. You know, some people they gonna file bankruptcy and get rid of it. No.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you're giving like an 18-year-old, you know, $100,000 loan. They don't even know what they want to do with their life, but you're gonna give them this big loan, and then it's unforgivable. You know what I'm saying? And it's a daily rate. I mean, it's a scam to me.
Oh, and on top of that, you can't pay your student loan with credit cards.
You can't?
Oh no!
Wow.
I would try to go in and buy, because you know sometimes you can get a credit card and you get like for the first 18 months, no interest transfer.
Yeah.
Nope. And you can't take out a loan from. I was like, maybe I'll just take out a different loan, pay this thing off. No, it's got to come directly out of your bank account. Or you got to write a check. I mean, Deborah and I were looking at hers, and I was looking at mine. I'm like, no, they want your actual cash. Because naturally, common sense would say, if you transfer it over and pay it off, they don't get that daily rate money.
Right.
So I'm like, it's not, and people need to know that kind of stuff on the front end.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, I'm amazed at my client base. People got $50,000, $100,000 in student loan debt with no guarantee of a job.
Oh man.
But somebody give you a mortgage in student loan debt.
Right.
But you don't have a job.
Right.
You know, there's no guarantee you're gonna get a job. I think that's amazing to me that people do that. But sometimes people haven't really been taught what to do.
They haven't. I mean, and the system is rigged, like you said, it's rigged.
Yeah.
It's rigged like the election. Okay, let me just tell you. That election was a scam. And we want to stop the steal, okay?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness, yeah. Oh my goodness is right. But I think it is rigged, and we gotta. But you know, it's also a game. You know, it's a game, and you gotta learn the game. You gotta learn the game and the rules, and who's winning. Who's winning the game? They say the golden rule is not doing to others as you would have them do it to you. The golden rule is he who has the gold makes the rule. Okay. So we got to learn, okay, who's making money off this? Like, how does the money flow? Exactly. And because it's utterly ridiculous. Now, we never got to her last question here. Y'all kind of went off on that, but it said, y'all are hilarious. Where do you think that came from?
Oh man. I think we were just all born funny. Is that a thing? I mean, I think mom and dad are pretty funny. I think our grandparents, when I think back, like, I I think anyone who speaks their mind is funny.
Mm-hmm.
Because
that's a good definition. I like that.
Because a lot of people don't say what they're truly thinking. And I'm not saying say it in a way that hurts people or belittles people, but I think our grandparents, our aunts and uncles, our parents, people that we grew up around that were older than us, that were mentors, they all spoke their mind. And it's hilarious.
Yeah.
I think you throw on top of that our accents, because sometimes I hear how country I sound up here and I'm like, wow, that's comedy within itself. But yeah, but I do think, and I think we laugh at ourselves too. I think when you can laugh at yourself, it's even more funny because a lot of people can't do that. And I think that takes some sort of confidence, but also that comes from our parents as well.
Yeah, they allowed us to be ourselves, which at times can just be funny when even we think we're being serious. I mean, we just look ridiculous. And we can laugh at that and be okay. I don't think when we laugh at each other, we feel like somebody's making me feel bad or doing something to mistreat me.
Well,
it's
well, I'm a Pisces, so I'm saying.
Oh, okay.
Because I think about our parents' friends. I remember growing up and we had, friends of our parents that went to church and they had kids that were close in age with us, and they were just all hilarious. Mm-hmm. They were all hilarious. And so when I think about that, what?
The internet started. He said they were,
Are you serious?
No, it's all good.
My internet should be working.
P. I think it was the P.
Oh, the P.
Oh no. Oh boy.
But at any rate, but I think they allowed us to be who we were. And even now, when we sit around, we might tell some of the same stories over and over again, and we still laugh about it. And we love just that freedom of just being ourselves and enjoying each other.
Yeah.
And being okay in our skin.
One thing that I really admire about Mom, and I think Stacy, you were saying this, we speak our mind, and I think, and sometimes when Mom speaks her mind, it is so funny. It's like she just be saying stuff, and you can't, it's like, wow, you just said that, like with a straight face, or you said, and it's just amazing. And I find myself doing that now. I could be in a business meeting and I'll say something in a tactful way, but people will look at me like, what in the world? And I'm like, bruh, so I think we got that from our mom. Yeah. And I think what we got from our dad in terms of being funny is, having a facade, it's like we have this face on, but deep down, every now and again, I'm gonna tell you what I'm thinking, and I'm about to get you, and because I hear Dad doing that sometimes. I'm like, oh, you really are, being, kind of shady, or not shady, but
no, it's
what's the word? Sometimes. What's the word I'm thinking about? Petty. Yeah, petty. You really are being petty right now. Because sometimes Dad, one thing Dad does, I don't know why Dad does this. He does it to you, Tim, and he does it to me. And he'll say stuff like our wives will be sitting there, and he'll always bring up the ex-girlfriends. Man, I'm like,
all the time.
Dude, what was that girl you used to bring around here? Who was that? Oh Lord, you know what I'm saying? So I just think that's
he does do that.
Cheryl did that last weekend. Cheryl did that. Who was that child you used today? That child.
That child.
I was like, what's up? What's going on with that child now? I'm like, I don't know. That's a trick question. Cause why should I know what's going on?
But right. I'm gonna give y'all an example. This is so funny. Stacy, I don't even know if you were in town, but one of them childs, okay, that Tim was dating, he brought her to the house.
There were many.
And yeah, there were many. And she brought her daughter. You remember, from Atlanta.
Was that the girl?
I can't tell too many details. People gonna be like, "You're talking about me." Oh no. Okay. But anyway, I get somebody, one of my this podcast I listen to, they say we got to get our insurance bucket out because people gonna start. But anyway, So the girl, the daughter started talking about how she was, graduating from school, but she couldn't find a job and blah, blah, blah. And y'all's mama came in the conversation and was like, well, they should have something to help you get a job. If they're not doing that, I don't know if I was just like,
heard about you told me about it. I feel like
it was so, because everybody was thinking, I think I was thinking it, but she just verbalized it. And I was just like, oh my goodness.
No, I think the worst one was somebody was at the house that I had from the past.
That was another one.
Yeah.
And it's during the holidays. And Dad just out of the blue said, if you only make this amount of money, you ain't gonna ever be able to take care of yourself. You ain't gonna ever be able to get no real job. You ain't gonna be able to buy a house. And I'm like, where did this random come from?
He said that to you or to your friend?
Well, he just threw it out in the atmosphere.
Yeah, but she was sitting there.
Wow, that's petty.
And
that
basically,
petty.
we all knew. I mean, it was just like, wow, that's deep.
He just came out of left field. But
it's almost like, what you gonna do? You at my house, you sitting at my table eating my food. I'm about to tell you, I ain't gonna call your name. You know what I'm saying? But I'm just gonna say something that's gonna relate to you.
But he said stuff to us about us too, because Dad would be like, "Hey Tim, you gained a little weight there, ain't you, son?
He's always talking about something with weight. Lord have mercy.
Push away from the table a little bit, don't you? All you gotta do is just push away from the table." And I'm like, dude, can I just enjoy the cake? I'm right now trying to eat some cake, and you telling me I need to push away from the table? Well, that's what he did. I figured, okay, you get over 70, you can say whatever you want to say.
Yeah.
But our parents have been like that for as long as I've known them. So 37 years ago, they were doing the same thing.
Maybe it's because they used to, because I remember I brought up this weekend how Dad used to, we'd be sitting at the kitchen table on Sunday afternoon and we ready to eat because we done spent 2.5, 3 hours at church since Sunday school. And Dad, when he's not really hungry, he prayed one of his long prayers. And I put my head down and started sticking my tongue out to touch my food because I was hungry during one of his long prayers. And I look up and Mom took an egg or something and threw something at me off her plate.
How old were you when you did that?
I don't know. I was probably about 10, 11 years old.
Oh, okay. Because that sounds just like Rowan. That
it
sounds
does.
Just like something Rowan to do. Yo, son, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hey, y'all, last podcast episode, we actually had a lot of takeaways. We recommended some books and podcasts and things like that. And this one, y'all weren't really talking about nothing. I mean, y'all
I think we talk about one thing, Bill. I think this is a takeaway in terms of like education. And people, having kids going to school, or they have younger children, or if they have kids that are in school or getting ready to go next year, you have options. You have options. You don't have to take out a loan. They don't have to take, a full load the first semester. They can take a couple of classes, and you can pay for those couple of classes that first semester and see how they do. The world is so different now.
Yeah.
Do you want them to even go? Are they going to do well if it's virtual versus if they're on campus? Are they going to do better on campus? Are you going to worry about them if they're on campus? Because everybody's not going to wear a mask. Things are so different. So don't be so quick to jump out there and just write a check or sign off on a loan. Take a couple of classes. Let them go to a junior college for one semester. They'll transfer. They can transfer. That's a conversation you want to have now. Don't have it a month before they're ready to go to school. And people do that. They wait till the last minute. I had a lady today talking about she want to retire next month. I'm like, no, honey, that's not going to happen. You ain't even sent in your paperwork yet to retire. That takes at least 3 or 4 months. But people wait till the last minute and just assume people are supposed to accommodate them.
You can put in your 2 weeks notice. You know what I'm saying? I'm about to retire. I'll be out of here February 15th by Valentine's Day. I'll be gone. I won't be back after I go out. So, but another thing I think is a good takeaway in regards to that topic is notice who your kids are hanging around. And are the kids or students that your children are hanging out with, are they smart? Are they going to college? And you can figure that out years before it's time. Really what I'm saying is environment is key, because whoever you're, like Jim Rohn said, you are the 5 people you hang out with. And one thing about me, all my friends was going to college. And the reason I brought up Anthony, I remember thinking to myself at 17 or 18, okay, Anthony was, he was like a great student in high school. And I knew that we were going to hang out and kick it in college, but I knew we were going to get our work done too. You know what I mean? And so for me, I think that, I don't know if my parents looked at it like that, but that was really important to me. And I would look at it like that, because if I know, okay, the folks you hanging around, all them going to junior college, but you think you about to go, I'm gonna consider that. You know what I'm saying? Or vice versa. So I think that's really key. And if you can be intentional about environment as it relates to your child's education as well, that's why parents want to put their kids through private school or get them in a certain school, because it's environment. That's really what it is. It's environment. Everybody is going in a certain direction. Right?
Billy, your internet a little bootleg too.
It went.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yeah. It's
okay.
bouncing around.
Hey, shout out to AT&T. You know what I'm saying?
But I would also say too, like for any parents that are listening, or if there are any young people listening, make a plan. If you have a different vision for your life and you know that your parents might not be into that or be in tune to that, make a plan and present it to them. I mean, that's what I did.
That's great.
That's what
awesome.
I did. I had a plan. Even if my parents had said no, I had a backup plan. I was ready. I knew what I had a vision. And even though, sometimes you're like, well, all my pieces aren't in play. That's fine. You got a plan. You have a goal, you have a plan, and you have a vision. That's all you really need. But I would also say too, have conversations with your kids, no matter how old they are. Sit down and talk to them in depth. I talk to my parents now more, I feel like, than I did when I was younger, in depth, because I got to that point in life where I needed to. I craved to tell them all my secrets. You know what I'm saying? So have those deep conversations, because that part of the environment will definitely follow them throughout life.
Yeah.
I love that. Have a plan and a backup plan. And that's man, that is so key. Because like Tim said, you gotta plan that thing out. You can't next month think you're gonna do something. And the folks who are planning for it, those are the people who, if they get knocked off the rail, they're able to get back on. They're able to get back in line, because they and that goes for paying for it too. We should really start a 529 plan or saving for college or whatever when our children are born or when we know we're pregnant. You know what I'm saying? That's what we should really start doing, because if we do that, by the time it's time for them to go to college, or if they don't, or if they get a full ride, hey, look at what you got. So it is exactly right. What it is.
It is what it is.
I'm glad we got some, we always want to give you guys something, some takeaways and have some fun and all that good stuff. What y'all got planned for the rest of the week? It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday right now.
Wow, it's Tuesday.
What y'all got?
I was supposed to start this play this week through MCC. It's a theater company here in New York. We're actually starting on Friday. It's I think 8 vignettes, so it's a one act, but there are 8 vignettes within it, written by a lovely playwright named Infiniso. It's called One Love. So I'll be starting rehearsals for that on Friday, and yeah.
How's your TV stuff coming? Did you got a role on what show?
I shot New Amsterdam. New Amsterdam. 2 weeks ago. 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a recurring role?
It is a recurring role. I play Dr. Felicia Elder.
Oh, cool. Yeah, that's my cousin. Okay.
But auditioning and whatnot this week. I have my dry erase board. I'm gonna show the people without showing the people, but I got my little board up here with all my
my
different things that
how many those are all auditions?
No, some of these are like, I'm doing a panel discussion next week through AMDA, the school I went to, American Musical and Dramatics Academy, for Black History Month. Doctor's appointment, some are auditions, and workshops. I take some workshops here and there on different topics.
Yeah. No, that's cool. What you got up rest of the week, Tim?
Got clients tomorrow. And got Catalyst tomorrow, my Catalyst class through the Entrepreneur Center for startups. And got a few more appointments. I'm actually light on Friday, which I set it up that way on purpose. So I could just take some time. I'm supposed to be doing this cohort through the SBA, Tennessee Business Development Academy.
Yeah.
So I want to have.
When does that start?
It's this meeting is supposed to start Friday at 10 a.m. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
So I just want to have my mind ready for that.
Yeah.
But you know what? I'm looking forward to the weekend just to have some date time with Mama, my wife.
Oh,
so,
okay.
I was like,
yeah.
what? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Don't get too specific, brother.
Just gonna keep it light. Outside of my son is like, so when y'all gonna have a baby? Y'all gonna have a baby in time?
Oh, wow.
Oh, Lord.
I'm like, dude, it takes time. He's like, but do something. I mean, what's wrong? My son was like, your sperm's slow.
Jesus.
I was like, for real, dude? He said, I won. I made it.
Hey.
I was like, well, I guess.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's my 11-year-old Rowan. Yeah.
Yeah, bless him. God bless him.
What
What
guys,
about you, Billy?
I'm just gonna finish out the week strong. I don't have too much of a busy week, but I'm really just trying to stay disciplined. You know, I'm getting my running in, and I'm work at our company, MyTech. We had a big win last month. We renewed a big contract with Nashville Electric Service. So for 5 years, so we're working on updating some things on that. And I'm just making sure that goes smoothly, because that's an anchor customer, and it's really not our biggest customer, but the name, when people hear NES or Nashville Electric Service in Nashville, they think, oh, well, if you can do the work for them, you can certainly do it for, so it's really a credibility play there. So we're just making sure everything rolls out good there. And then I'm really working diligently too on understanding how the mind works. I'm very fascinated with our minds. So I'm always reading something or listening to something in regard to that. But no, I'm just going about my regimen. My day starts early and it ends late, but I'm all about my regimen. So I'm just kicking it out here, kicking it.
You are your parents' child. But how was your gaming, your gaming activities going?
What are you talking about there?
You got your headset on and you're in your gaming chair. I just want to know how that's going.
Hey, that's what Miles, my son, came in here one day when I got the chair. He's like, "Why do you have a gaming chair? You don't even play games." I'm like, "Man, life is a game, bruh. Life is a game." You know what I'm saying? And you gotta have and see the game, the gaming fanatics. They know how to do it. They got the chair. They got the headphones. One of my employees, he's actually a big gamer, and he has a chair like mine. And he showed me his screens up and all this stuff, and he got a certain keyboard. It lights up. I'm like, man, these guys know how to do it, man.
Yeah, and they make a lot of money.
Oh, no doubt. But your work area, it needs to be like comfortable if you're going to be there for hours, but it also needs to accommodate what you're doing. It needs to just accommodate you. So I'm real big about that. Even in my office, I have like a ball. What's the ball called where you do your sit-ups and crunches and
a yoga ball?
I got push-up stuff. I got the resistance things. I mean, I got everything in there. You know what I'm saying? People be looking at me like I'm crazy. I'm like, dude, I got to make sure this area, if I feel like, doing some sit-ups, I need to, I can't lay on the floor,
Right.
So anyway, You try to crack, but it's all good.
I think I accomplished it. I got a chuckle. That's all I was looking for.
That's because I was on your plant earlier, so you got me. You got me
plant,
back.
Esther, she gonna make it through. She's gonna make it
I just
through.
I'm glad you named your plant. I just want to say congratulations to Tim for getting a light. And, you know what I'm saying? So now we can, you know what I'm saying? Like I said, we're doing this in levels, and we make sure we got some good light. You using the microphone too?
Not tonight, but I mean.
Okay, I can tell. I can tell. I'll make sure just
That
on the
I can
next.
tell.
Make sure on the
I'm gonna
next-
start doing ASMR.
Why are you talking to the mic like that? Yeah, have y'all seen the Progressive commercial where people like looking at the thing like this? Can y'all hear me? Can y'all hear me? You gotta watch this podcast on YouTube, y'all, because y'all ain't gonna be able to see how crazy Stacy looks. Anyway, in her plant, Hey man, but hey, I hope y'all.
Great. It's been
With how Drew Hill look.
All right.
Listen, don't hate it. Don't hate it.
Hey, what's that song Cisco used to sing from Drew Hill?
Tell me what you want.
No, when Cisco went solo, it was a kind of thong.
I love it when that beat goes. Oh gosh.
Whatever happened to those guys?
I don't know. They blew off in the wind somewhere. Who knows? They were all.
It might be in Europe.
Too.
Oh god. In Asia. Well, ain't nowhere now with the COVID. All right, y'all. Hey, let's wrap it up. Hey, this podcast is brought to you by Tim McCleskey. No, what's your website? FedUp.com. FedUp.com. Tools to show you how to pay off your debt with money you already have. Anastasia.com. Check out.
Yeah. Anastasia.
Anastasia McCleskey. That would be fire if you had that.
It would be
Anastasia McCleskey.
Yeah,
FedUp. Oh man, let me.
If you don't announce the sponsors, get it right.
All right. FedUpGroup.com. You know what I'm saying? FedUpGroup.com. Anastasia McCleskey.com.
Yeah, I need to update my
BillMcCleskey.com. All right.
Yeah.
So we'll have sponsors one day, but those are the sponsors currently. So go check us out and take a look at what we're doing. And send in your questions. Holla back. Send us a message and we'll check you out. See y'all next time. Holla.